I am WICB's rap, hip hop, and R&B music director, and I'm accompanied here by our social media strategist, Whitney. And the most important part. So you guys want to go around and say your name and how you incorporate yourself musically, emotionally to your band?
Whoa.
Can you give us an example of how you would do that?
Do you need an example
You can just
of an
introduce
emotion?
your name and your role in the band.
What's up, guys?
Okay.
I'm Ben. I'm the lead singer. I make a lot of weird noises. That's my major emotional contribution.
Yep.
I am Kamau. I sing and play guitar, and emotionally, I am stable enough.
There you go.
I'm Christian. I play violin and I rap and I sing sometimes, and in order to stay emotionally stable, watch a lot of anime.
Yeah, baby.
Nice. I'm Michael. I play guitar. That's it.
I'm Daniel, and I'm the best basketball player in the group. And I also play guitar.
B-ball Dan.
Baseball Dan.
I'm Rami. I'm the bass player. I also do most of the worrying and anxiety.
I'm Miles.
Correct.
I'm the drummer. I'm still trying to figure out how to get the video working because I'm only seeing darkness.
Oh, we see you.
You look
That's a great answer.
beautiful.
I'm only seeing darkness, literally, but emotionally, I'm fine.
You know, I guess we're just gonna keep going on with that. You know, I don't know how to help you there. So I think what I wanted. Well, JT, you for
JT deserves an intro.
Hi, I'm JT.
No,
I
he
play
doesn't.
Video games with my friends when they ask me.
You mean when you ask us?
Yeah, one way or the other.
Got him.
So I guess what I am most interested in starting off with would be your most recent release, your 2020 EP, Konoha, which fortunately
Konoha.
I have just started watching Naruto because, you know, it's a show that I'd never seen before, and I was awaiting Netflix's release of Avatar: The Last Airbender, so I was like, let's give it a shot. So I was able to pinpoint that you guys were referencing Naruto there, and I just wanted to really hone in on why and the relation to the songs and the title of the album.
Well, I mean, I think a lot of us have some relationship with the show Naruto, and actually a few of us watched it together. The song isn't about Naruto per se, but I think there's a lot of energies in the show, a lot of stuff about community, a lot of stuff about village and love and friendship and growth. All the themes of the show that really linked really well with the themes of this song, which are really about self-growth and love, and there's just a really sort of positive sort of community love energy weaved through the sonics in the song and weaved through the lyrics of the song. And just us having all watched Naruto together, or many of us having watched Naruto together, and us all sort of having a connection with our childhood, and just all that energy sort of lined up really well, and that's why we called the song Konoha. Sorry.
Yo,
Who's the duck?
That's my thing going.
Oh.
I'm gonna mute the freaking chat.
So yeah, it was kind of cool for me to make that connection. And I definitely really got that sense of connectedness of different types, whether that's between love or not knowingness of love and how that connects you. And, you know, I got a lot of different senses from that album and the song titles. And something that was also really interesting to me was when you guys had come to the station to record for Freestyle Fridays and to record some stuff for the radio. You had talked about including the recording of Leonardo DiCaprio's real name, beyond me right now. But that clip, you guys were going to use it in the freestyle, and it ended up being on the song. So it was really cool to see it there.
Oh, yeah.
I totally forgot about that. Were
Yeah,
we talking
I
about
too.
that?
Yeah, you guys wanted to include it in the freestyle. What is Leonardo DiCaprio's real name?
No, it is that.
That's it.
No, I think that's it.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Crazy.
No, I think it was just the whole fact that he was just ripping a vape.
Yeah.
That was our little treat to ourselves, just because, you know, at the end of a lot of studio sessions, you know, we've used literally every creative calorie in our bodies, and pretty much everything that's brought into the room becomes hilarious and becomes some kind of inside joke. So the fact that we are able to use that last like neuron of creative energy and put in one of our favorite inside jokes in there made us feel really good about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it kind of sounds like Konoha, like it resonates with you deeply, if I'm not mistaken. Like it hits metaphorically, like through something that everyone can relate to, connectedness and love, but also you included something that connects you guys and an inside joke that you guys had, which is cool. Like, do you think that that made it more relatable, or was it just for you guys?
Honestly, go ahead, Ben.
No, I was just gonna say, it's like we didn't want it, like the song to seem necessarily too serious. I don't know if that's the right word, but like just a little lightheartedness to like make sure you knew where we were coming from, and also just a little taste of our character. I don't know. What are you gonna say, Michael?
I was just gonna say, well, pretty much what you said in terms of the self-awareness, but also we just do that kind of shit for ourselves sometimes. Like, that's definitely a part of us, and we like to throw those Easter eggs in here and there. And we were like driving in Brooklyn, some of us, and we were listening to The Daily with like Terry Gross and stuff, and shout out, she's my girl.
Shout out Terry
on NPR. And she was doing a special on vaping. JT's probably gonna get mad at me right now for saying where it came from.
Oh,
but she was doing a special on vaping, and they just threw that soundbite in there, and I shit you not, it was like one of the hardest times. Like, we've all collectively laughed together. It was like just thrown in there. It was like Leonardo DiCaprio was spotted vaping. He made it sound like heresy. It was just like, this man shall be guillotined tomorrow for vaping. But no, I mean, in addition to that, I know Christian's talked about this in other interviews, but there's even stuff like that weaved through a song like Konoha. Like, there's an ad-lib track in there that is just like running through the whole song.
There's a few.
There's a bunch, yeah. And you can hear like random laughs and just like goof energy. If you listen closely, it's really low, but Kamau's laugh is super recognizable. It's in the beginning of DiCaprio too, but you can hear it in Konoha. There's just a bunch of stuff like that, and layers and stuff inside both those recordings. So yeah, we do a lot of that for us too.
That's nice to hear because I don't make music. I've kind of fantasized about making music my whole life. I've struggled forming a band myself, so it's cool to see how you guys hear. But it's not something that I always wonder is when the art starts becoming less about you and more about just the world hearing it and what the world thinks about it.
Mm-hmm.
So it sounds like you are providing music for the world, you're releasing it, but still keeping it close to home, and that's nice. It's empowering to me, and it's probably comfy for you guys.
I think that relationship is a symbiotic one because the more yourself you are, and it's not easy to do this. Like you're always, especially as a human being, just constantly thinking about how you're perceived and all these things. And it's like took us a long time, at least me personally, to like step away from that and just be myself with the group, ourself completely through the art. And people start responding even better to that genuine vulnerability and that authenticity. So I think like the relationship between like how you're perceived and how genuine you are is like directly, like it's a positive correlation. At least that's what I found, and that's the art that I'm drawn to most too. So thank you for that.
Yeah, of course.
And to sort of piggyback off that idea, what's kind of cool is, like you were saying, Ben, it's a symbiosis. So there's something you kind of realize just through maturity, and being a part of the band has helped me mature a lot as a person. The second something you create touches someone else's eyes or ears, and however they absorb that media, the shape of it changes entirely. That's something Michael and I were talking about not too long ago, but it's sort of an aha moment that we all have at some point where we realize the music isn't always about us. Even if we're pouring everything we have on a personal level into writing it, everyone's gonna have a different experience with it, and that's what kind of makes it valuable as an art form. So it's really special when we connect to people in that way, seeing what they take out of our love of anime or our inside jokes about vaping. It's a lot of fun.
And just piggybacking on art, and
Paul Blart.
Oh, God.
Carolyn, I'll jump in here, and because Carolyn and I were actually having a conversation about this yesterday, and we were kind of trying to really understand your guys' brand, your guys' image, and it was kind of hard to determine what that is. I'm sorry if you can hear the barking in the background, but what's it called? While there's a cohesive brand, you guys are multifaceted, and you have different elements to not only your music, but your personality and all of that. So we were looking at all the work you've done and noticed that you have used the same photographer, Samuel Katz, and for at least the most recent work that you guys have put out. And we kind of wanted to know about how you guys started working together, what your ideas are behind your videos, especially DiCaprio that just came out and what we were just talking about, and generally like the brand that you guys want to build. So while we're talking about how the music is not always about you and it's about how it's received, now we're kind of shifting backwards and seeing how do your ideas kind of shape what you put out there?
Big thank you for like talking about Sam David Katz. That dude is the home. Like, throw some respect on that. Rami, you wanna take that?
Yeah. So Sam is actually my second cousin, but he grew up in San Diego, so like I kind of really didn't know him throughout most of my life. But then the summer of 2018, he came to the East Coast for some like baseball thing, and then just like stopped by my house for the weekend, and we chilled and like talked about music, and I really related to him a lot. And then found out he was a photographer, and then he just cruised on the next tour with us, and he's excellent. That's pretty much it.
He's a big influence on me personally, just like how open he is to really good quality art in all areas, like all genres of music, all types of visual art, like spanning from genre to genre, like whatever it is, he can appreciate like real good quality on like a whole spectrum. And that's something that like I really admire in him, and like that, I think that woven into his own personal style and the way he sees us, he like brings out the best in us visually, and is always like stimulating me emotionally and creatively as well. And like we play FIFA all the fucking time. He's the man.
Sam's a fine art photographer who has a true burning passion for music.
Yeah.
And he loves capturing not only moments on stage, but he's really candid photographer, and his process is pretty overarching in terms of like daily life. I mean, he's just one of the boys as well. And you know, it's a bummer that this tour got canceled and stuff and had to get postponed, but this is going to be his second tour with us. And you know, he kind of had his process figured out now because he was on a long tour with us before, and a lot of those images you see and stuff were captured on that tour. And then going forward, you know, we were able to collab on you know, shoots and projects going forward. And he, you know, was pretty involved in our time in Queens too. He would just kind of fly out and hang with us and chill and take photos. And he DP'd on the DiCaprio video too. He was kind of another creative director on that video shoot, which was super fun, by the way. I mean, I'm sure you can garner that from watching the video, but that video was just really fun to make. Like it was a lot of fuckery and just like a lot of energy where the boys were just being the boys, and like we wanted to come off that way. And I guess you asked about the video too. I'll just talk about it a little bit and someone else can talk about it if they want to. Dan, I know you probably have some thoughts. But yeah, I mean, the video, the whole look and aesthetic of the video is kind of meant to resemble the stylistic influence of the music. We're kind of in a big like early 2000s, late 90s phase at the time, and that's always something we grew up with that music, so it's always kind of part of us. But I think, you know, the look of that was a lot of wide angles, and just like there's some like influence from early 2000s music videos and maybe that era of MTV too, and just like the look of kind of like skate parts from that era too, and just like that really kind of in your face like vibe. And you could probably tell from like the opening scene, we wanted it to be like like very poignant, and the alley scene is like a, you know, the jump cuts between Ben and Christian and stuff. So yeah, we just wanted that to kind of match the energy of the song, and the song was influenced by music from that era too. So
also shout out to Logan Rainier, who did most of the shooting for that too.
Yeah, Logan.
He was awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think we wanted the video to match in a lot of ways how we wrote the song, which was, I mean, Come Out came to us with a hook, and I think everyone, or a lot of band members, just kind of heard different things over it, and it was very casual. It came together very casual. We were just kind of there were a couple different sessions of us sitting down and throwing ideas around and seeing what worked, seeing what didn't work. And it was really fun. And it was very sporadic, and it wasn't, super, it's cohesive, but not like it's telling one continuous story. It's that different take on a bunch of different people's eyes. So, and we wanted that to come out in the video too, just kind of sporadic and lighthearted, but also has a certain character to it that comes through in the music and then in the way the video is shot as well.
Yeah, I really appreciate that you're highlighting these influences. Exactly like with Konoha, it's like really taking different elements and speaking to who you guys are, which is not fitting into one particular box or one particular mold. And I really appreciate that, because this genre bending music that you guys produce is different than what I hear on mainstream music. So it's really refreshing to hear that. And I'm just curious, before Carolyn kind of dives into the streaming aspect of it that we had discussed, how like each particular EP that you guys have released in the past few years has a different aesthetic to it. It's the cover art is different, the music is different. So going from You Are Simply Magnificent to Konoha, like what was the change for you guys in terms of the cover art there? Because it was a cartoon, it was drawings before, and now it's more you guys taking a picture by the van, and has a different vibe that goes with it.
Sure. I think a lot of it, the character, I mean, Rami drew that character for Yasm in its purest form. It's just like a shapeless, faceless, colorless example of like, the character that was living and growing and being broken in Yasm. And I think, like, again, back to what Kamau was saying about letting the listener sort of experience the music and interpret it for themselves and find the nuggets that they really latch onto. I think like that character sort of represents us reaching for that, like putting yourself in those shoes of, and listening to the story and drawing your own understanding of like, what we were going through. It was a particularly gnarly period for us. Like we were graduating college and we were becoming a band for real, and we were just experiencing life in a more intense way, really, I think, than ever before. And now we're sort of becoming this unit that we wanted everyone to see, right? And the Konoha cover is just like the village, right? It's everyone that was involved in that shoot, everyone that was involved in like just the community that is Juice in that particular moment. So I don't know. I think it's natural. I don't think we're trying to be anything besides ourselves. And I don't know. Does anyone else want to add to that?
I mean, real quick. I mean, also to an extent, it's kind of just like we're working with what we have at the moment. Like during Yasm, we didn't have an ongoing relationship with like an illustrator, so we just like took matters into our own hands. And then during this next phase of music, we had a relationship with Sam, and we took advantage of that, and it kind of just ends up working out that it reflects what was going on in our lives during that particular moment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think what's cool is that, you use the tools that you have in the moment to illustrate that moment in the story, in the Juice story. And each moment in the Juice story is a little bit different, and the energy is a little bit different at each time. So like Ben said, the Yasm cover is a little bit more sparse. It's a little bit darker. These covers on the EP that or on the project that Konoha is on are, you get to see a little piece of the story every single time that we release a song, whether it's the Den with the balloon or Caprio or the village for Konoha. And I think what we're trying to do and what the challenge is of developing a brand and showing a brand to people is we're trying to give over a number of releases, over a number of projects, give a holistic picture of who we are visually and sonically. And each project is going to represent and show a different part of that. And I think, you know, the Konoha cover is one of my favorite pictures that we have as a band. I'm excited. I think Dan has said that too, because it really just shows like the depth of community that is involved in, you know, in doing this. And I think Konoha was the perfect song for that. And so you get to see that just by looking at that cover, which is really cool. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I mean, every piece is going to be different, but it's all going to directly relate to who we are. And I think that's the cool part about it.
I just want to add one small piece here too, because that was eloquently said by Christian. There's also this similarity between those covers, and you know, you obviously haven't seen the next few covers yet either, but there's a strong similarity between those two covers, Yasm and DiCaprio and Konoha, in that they're all very minimal, and I think we've kind of latched on to you know, visually depicting our music like that lately, because we've kind of noticed that there is like a strong presence of like, there's a strong fabric of like, I don't know if grandeur is the right word, but the music gets kind of big sometimes, and I don't know if it's like that specifically with DiCaprio. It has its moments, but Konoha is a pretty big song, and it's kind of cool to juxtapose that visually with really minimalist covers. But that's something inherent in the Juice DNA too. Like Stupid Freak has a similar kind of trajectory as Konoha, and that just happens with us naturally, because, you know, we're a group of
You're a small
guys
village.
who just we do that. We tend to do that. So that's a big part of the sound, and it's emotional and at times too. Not to self-declare, you know, our music emotional, but like those big moments, kind of like, that's one of my favorite things about the Yasm cover is that it's so small, and it's like it's a distillation of the feelings within the project. But you know, whereas if you were to go like really big with that kind of vibe or that kind of cover visually, I don't know, it might not hit as hard or something. But so that was kind of logic there in terms of us talking about it at the time. I think it's been a while, but.
No, go ahead, Carolyn. Go ahead.
I guess just kind of piggybacking off of your self-identity, it seems like you guys have a really strong sense of your own, like defining yourself as a village, Juice DNA, like these words that are you know, and you use them so fluidly, talking about each other, talking about creating the project. I think it's interesting though. My department is rap, hip hop, and R&B. You guys, you know, you flow in and flow out of those genres. You know, like, you guys have your own like name for the music you make. Like, you know, what would you? Because streaming services label you guys as alternative, which is kind of just like a slap on whatever that word means, you know? So do you guys have a self-identity in that sense as well?
We're an alternative to literally everything else.
Yeah.
No, I don't have a good answer for that. If anyone has the right words to address that question.
Yeah, go ahead, Christian.
Well, I was going to say that, you know, we talk about this a lot too, and there's no one thing that we've ever come up with that defines every single thing that every single one of our songs does. We say boy band a lot just because, you know, lately that word has, the meaning of that word has expanded, and we are like a band of boys, I guess men now. But so on one level, we're a boy band. We have a lot of energy coming from a lot of different places. And you know, some of our music is reminiscent of that sort of late 90s, early 2000s sound anyway, especially songs like DiCaprio. But you know, we've had discussions about the word indie recently, and whether, you know, that accurately depicts us, about the word alternative, about rock, about hip hop, about R&B, all these things that like maybe define a portion of our genre don't necessarily encapsulate everything. And so it is hard. I mean, I think alternative, I'm actually, I'm kind of happy with alternative.
Yeah. It's as close as you can get. I mean, everyone's going to come swinging at you with preconceived notions of these genres, right? Mm. And like, I don't think we're even close to touching everything that we're capable of sonically, like in terms of like this expanse, you know, of sounds. Like we're still going for more and pushing for newer stuff, and so I think alternative is chill with me.
Yeah, I guess it's tough. Like mislabeling music is a topic that is kind of beyond me, and I think beyond music labelers. So I mean, I guess it's cool that you guys are settling for alternative, and you guys think that that's a good way to define you. And it's also cool that you guys are breaking boundaries and, you know, still discovering what alternative could mean to you. And that's the reason why music labels are hard, because of you. So thanks, guys.
What I do.
Yeah. So I honestly, that's probably my favorite thing about you guys, though. Is your sound, because at the show that you guys had at the Haunt, it was cool. It was really intimate, and all the songs made me want to dance. And that was like your one connecting, to me at least, like the one connecting factor for all of the songs. It didn't matter what genre they were. It really made me think about them and, like, you know, wiggle a little bit. Yeah, wiggle inducing is the genre I would call you.
Wow.
Wiggle inducing. Oh, I want to. Have you patented that?
Yeah, I guess
might
right
need to
now,
start
too.
using it.
We might get a lawsuit from the Wiggles, though.
They have plenty
that
of
sounds like
already.
a nightmare.
Oh my God, the Wiggles are out for blood.
Yeah, the Wiggles are dangerous.
I would not mess with those guys.
That's a secret society right there of serial killers. The Wiggles.
I'm just gonna derail that real quick. And actually, you had mentioned that your tour was kind of also getting derailed. Speaking of, how are you guys transitioning with that and creating music through social distancing and not being together anymore?
Well, luckily so right before this all happened, we were actually in the studio recording more songs than have come out so far. So we've got a couple more coming out there. And yeah, like I said before, we pass around ideas. We always have kind of home recording interfaces that we can throw around and stuff like that. Hopefully we'll be getting back together soon. If we can't tour, we want to find every way that we can to stay engaged with people, whether that's through, any number of mediums, but, the best being making music for people. It's our favorite thing to do. So yeah, it's different, and the collaborative process has changed for sure. It's still going though. And, hopefully in the next few months, we'll be able to continue recording making all that. And hopefully we'll be able to tour in like August and September. We're really hoping. That's like when everything is rescheduled right now, but we'll see. So.
Yeah. The other thing that's been challenging in that regard is like, I mean, all the health guidelines and regulations that, you know, are put in place for our safety and things, and everything's, you know, obviously we're abiding by all the rules we can be right now. You know, kind of wish we were together at times, but like Dan said, we found other ways to collaborate and stuff. But the main thing is like, you know, you hear all these phases that are happening and stuff, and like entertainment, you know, is, and this is kind of fucked up, but entertainment is the most non-essential, like, of any kind of industry. At least the government would categorize it as that. Obviously, you know, if it were up to the people, they might say otherwise, but it's kind of scary because we don't know when, like, yeah, our tour is rescheduled, but day to day, like, you don't really know, like, you know, if whatever this state's government is going to allow concerts even. So we're hopeful, but it's definitely.
And you guys have done some virtual tours, virtual festivals.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, we did one.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun to record. Actually, one of the main ways we've been able to still tap into each other musically. You know, I mean, it was definitely a hurdle to sort of get over, because, you know, for maybe 2 weeks straight, I was looking at myself in a camera, which I don't do very often, and, you know, playing and singing in complete silence, or not complete silence, basically just to Miles's drum track or Rami's bass, and then just kind of remembering, like, I think Ben sings like this here, and then having to see how it all comes together later. But seeing how we were able to pull it off was actually really exciting, and Miles did a really sick job editing the video for the festival, and it really just gives me a lot of inspiration to keep moving forward. And, you know, we're still passing around voice memos pretty much every day, so
yeah, I think that's been one of the coolest. I mean, if you're gonna look on the bright side of things, which, you know, I urge everyone to do, there's, like, I've personally and some of the other guys have been working a lot on, like, at-home production, and Miles has always been very good at it. But I certainly am hopeful for, like, the future of us being able to just, like, take most of the reins on that, and, like, that's super exciting, and you're, you know, really able to just milk the most out of the feeling and the art when you're able to just, like, be in the crib at all times and just, like, create, you know.
Yep.
Yeah, do it the moment that it happens.
Yeah, great point. Instead of yeah.
So you guys are working on something coming up.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Wait, what?
He said
the name of the song
is Make Pretend.
Yes. And then I ran away.
And then he ran away. He got scared.
He got scared. He was scared.
In your home.
Make Pretend?
Yeah, Make Pretend.
You get scared a lot.
Scared.
We all get scared.
The world's a scary
We all get
place.
scared, and that's what the song's about. It's about getting scared. It's about being too scared, so you make pretend.
It's like a mix between, like, Snoop Dogg and, like, bluegrass. Yeah.
Somewhere at that nexus.
Somewhere right there.
Yeah.
Where Snoop Dogg shakes hands with the banjo.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. And is that in light of our current situation? Is that in light of your fearful lives you've lived before? Is this...
Actually, yes.
Channeling the
I've lived
darkness.
many a fearful life.
Pull out my red lightsaber.
No, it was definitely written before before things happened on the grander scale.
When we were in Belmar.
Yeah, but I'm sure there's some lesson to be drawn, some parallels to be drawn between the song and our current state of being. But
it is really cool how, and I guess we can't talk about this any more than like in Konoha, but like how the songs, or at least certain elements of the songs, took on a different character with and like how, I don't know, how fitting some of the songs felt even in the crazy time. Especially, I mean, Konoha especially was kind of just a whole, you know, I guess, I don't know if you want to call it a love letter. That might be the wrong word, but a whole summation and kind of exploration of being in a band and stuff like that, and you know, having a little time apart and having that song to hold on to during this time is really, really cool. And as much as I can't talk about the other two as much, I think there are elements in that too. So it's cool how I think it really worked with you know, what's going on now, as much as we wish it wasn't going on now. But yeah,
on a sonically objective level, I think this song is going to be super chill to, like, if you were trying to escape the house and you happen to have a car that you can use to just be alone and just driving as the weather's getting nicer and just blasting this and like escaping your house.
This is a car song.
Yeah.
This is a motherfucking car song.
So that's something to be excited about.
Yeah.
I've been I've been enjoying. I'm the only one in California too, so, and luckily, you know, it's a little more sunny here, so I've been enjoying.
They only have cars in California.
They only have cars. They only have cars, and they only have sun. And a few
I
other
live in
things
Wisconsin.
here.
We exclusively ride around on carriages and horses, and I take my donkey out for a stroll when I need to go to the grocery store. So
you got a great ass, Dan.
You guys have the you guys have the Harry Potter flying car though too, right?
Very good.
The Harry
We
Potter
have what?
car?
The flying car? Well, yeah, of course.
What's it called? What's it called again?
The blue.
It's
Christian.
a flying blue Ford. It's a flying blue Ford Anglia.
Okay. You put that in a poem.
Yeah.
That was sick.
Yeah. It's called something too, right? Or did he name it? I don't think they named it.
I don't think they named it.
No, I don't know if they named it.
It's Mr.
I think
Weasley.
she specifically refers to it as the flying blue Ford Anglia.
Yeah.
There's
a tangent for you.
There. You guys are tangential. It makes me laugh. So. So you are going to release this project at some point, and I guess honestly, on a more general note, someone like myself, I find it really enlightening. I find it fun to be fun and make jokes and live in my head and live in a different time and pretend things and be playful. You know, like I find a lot of comfort in that. And I think I've kind of held on to my 12-year-old self in some lights. And I guess really what I'm interested in knowing is what making pretend means to you, or how you still are a child at heart or not. Maybe adults can pretend.
In most every way except my grown man's body.
My knees hurt.
You ain't no grown man, boy.
You better look at that beard.
Yeah, I don't know. We definitely incorporate elements of our childhood into our music so much. I mean, we're lucky. I mean, our job is touring around and playing our music, so getting in touch with that is, as we always are, is beneficial, but also just a fun way to live, I guess. So yeah, it comes out in the music, that we, you know, the way that we act around each other and all that stuff. Yeah.
The world is your playground, and the sooner you realize that, the more fun you're gonna have.
And having good folks around you is sort of like practicing keeping your imagination alive in a lot of ways, because you just sort of get to constantly reflect and reimagine what you could be. That's definitely yeah, the collective dome.
Yes.
Tale as old as time.
Tale as old as time.
But I really do like that, honestly. It's cool. It's something that I think everybody should resonate with, and I agree with you. And I don't know what your message is yet. Haven't heard the song, but I like how you're talking right now. So I agree with you.
I like how you're talking.
They're gonna hate it every second.
I've been hiding under covers from my nightmares. Is she holding to her pillow like I'm right there? Is she ever coming home again? It's nothing more than make pretend. I couldn't tell you what I used to be. Could you tell me what you used to see? My bed has never been made for sleeping, and I could never turn down the lights. But I feel like a pop star on the TV. Wonder what I've gotta do for you to see me. Like in a fever dream, such a feeling seems to never leave my bedroom. I've been hiding under covers from my nightmares. Is she holding to her pillow like I'm right there? Is she ever coming home again? It's nothing more than make pretend. I don't know if I hate it, but it really fucking hurts. Your nightmares help me feel sometimes. My imagination found a place that's even worse. Half of me is elated, the other half is only fine. Yeah, I feel nothing, and when I go to sleep I still feel nothing. I see you in my dreams and nothing, but it really fucking hurts. Saying my imagination around the place is even worse. Saying call me on the telephone 11:57, told me that she still love me. Now I got depression, deleted all the photos, better all solo. I'm going back to bed so I don't have to learn a lesson. I've been hiding under covers from my nightmares. Is she holding to her pillow like I'm right there? Is she ever coming home again? It's nothing more than make pretend. I've been hiding under covers from my nightmares. Is she holding to her pillow like I'm right there? Is she ever coming home again? It's nothing more than make pretend. But nothing's ever really the end. As she drowns me slowly and talk of love as I make pretend that she'll hold me, that she'll hold me. I've been hiding under covers from my nightmares. Is she holding to her pillow like I'm right there? Is she ever coming home again? It's nothing more than make pretend. Ooh. I've been hiding under
guess we can wrap this up with a final hoorah and how people can listen to you.
TikTok.
In the works. Instagram at It's Time for Juice.
Yeah,
Christian and I have been tweeting again recently, so follow us on Twitter at It's Time for Juice. What else? What are we missing?
Our
Facebook.
website. It's timeforjuice.com. Also our YouTube. I think we're gonna try and make some more videos like that.
Oh no. Did he freeze?
Cut out then.
As well as Patreon. I mean, if you want to support us through Patreon, that'd be super cool. There's some fun bits and exclusive content and
bonus rounds.
Yeah, it's funny stuff there too. So,
and follow us on Spotify too. That's important because it helps.
Yeah,
helps us get on playlists when we have more people follow us.
Yay!
Gives us that $18 in every quarter.
Everyone gets an $18 check every month, baby.
Yeah, baby.
The 18.
All right, guys, I'm gonna stop recording now. That was amazing.